is the Name It, Change It, How Calling Out Sexism Changes the Game panel. I think all of these ladies have a lot to say on the topic. My name is Crystal Ball. I'm co-host of The Cycle on MSNBC. I am a mother, a CPA, and most importantly, a former endorsed WCF candidate. So it's always nice to be back among family. And let me go ahead and introduce our panel. First off, we have Congresswoman Joyce Beatty. And by the way, we have 3 new congresswomen here, so we're very lucky. Congresswoman Beatty is from Ohio, and she actually was really integral in shaping the research for the new Name It, Change It research. Next, we have Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. And Congresswoman Gabbard is a member of the U.S. House from Hawaii. She's the first American Samoan, the first Hindu, and along with her colleague Tammy Duckworth, she's one of the first female combat veterans in the U.S. Congress. Not too shabby. Next we have Congresswoman Grace Meng. She's currently a member of the U.S. House from New York, elected in 2012 as well. First Asian American elected to Congress from New York, and she serves on the Committee on Foreign Affairs and the Committee on Small Business. Thank you. Next we have Val Demings, who is the first woman to serve as the chief of Orlando Police Department. Amazing stuff. She was the Democratic nominee in 2012 to represent Florida's 10th Congressional District. We all hope she will run again.
Yes.
And last, but certainly not least, the woman who needs no introduction, our Sam Bennett. Sam's been the president and CEO of the Women's Campaign Fund, the She Should Run Foundation, and WCF PAC since March 2009. And under Sam's fearless leadership, WCF and She Should Run's combined budget has more than doubled. Incredibly important metrics. We have a rich depth of personal experience here on this panel. And Congresswoman Meng, I was wondering if you could talk about if you experienced anything that you would call sexism or double standards on the campaign trail, or racial stereotypes that you may have encountered.
Both.
Yes, all of the above.
I'm running through all of them in my head. Well, in terms of gender stereotypes, I think that something that I encountered a lot and still encounter after I'm elected is as a mom of 2 young kids. I'm a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. You know, I even had one person tell me that they didn't elect me to babysit. Where some of, and I've been in the same room with some of these male candidates and electeds, and they get comments like, "Oh wow, you're such a wonderful parent, you're bringing your kids around."
How about you, Congresswoman Gabbard?
Sure, having a background in the military as well as my time working in the political field has been obviously male-dominated in a lot of respects. A little bit of a different experience than Grace. I'm not married and don't have kids. And I remember a conversation that a big supporter of mine in Hawaii had with me, sat me down, and he said, "Tulsi, I really want to support you and raise money and invest a lot of time and energy and encourage my friends to do so, but I have one burning question. Are you going to just fall in love and have babies and throw this great investment away?" And he was dead serious. He was very concerned about this. And it's an interesting thing for us to be able to laugh and shake our heads, but to understand that, this is a very successful businessman and somebody who likes to think of himself as very progressive and a champion for equality and for all people. And yet this was the big question, the one burning question he had on his mind before taking that step. So it becomes a challenge and an opportunity, I think, for all of us to not scoff and belittle people when they respond with this kind of perspective, but see it as an opportunity to enlighten and engage and kind of open their mind to something without disrespecting them.
What about you, Congressman Beatty?
Like my colleagues all above, and then you can add, I'm over 40, so I have the opposite end of what they receive. But it started prior to coming to Ohio. I was the first Democratic female to serve as the House leader. And I actually had colleagues come up to me and say, "We want to support you. We know you can do the job, but you're black and you're female. No way can you lead in the state of Ohio."
Wow.
So what's so great about what Sam is doing is the response, teaching us the response to have. Because so often you're caught off guard. Running for Congress, I thought it would be over. I had a proven record. I won that. I was the first female Democrat, black or white, to lead the House. And now I run in a newly drawn district, still black, still female. But my district is not a dominated district with minorities. It's only 22% African American. So now I have people coming to me saying, I want to support you, but I don't think you can win because you're female and you're black. Might add, I won with close to 70%. That you never say, with all of the successes we've had, that there are people out there, supporters, women and men, who will hit you with something that is so discriminatory. And lastly, which I thought was very interesting, I got the flip side. Because I live in the district, well in the district, but I didn't live in the urban inner city. Yeah. So then I had people to criticize me that I wasn't black enough, defined by where I live.
Voters have a hard enough time believing women are qualified to start with. There's a lot of research out there. Barbara Lee's done it. Women, remember, I'll vote for a woman as long as she's qualified. How many times have you heard that? Right? Do they ever say that about a guy? No. No. So a woman is uniquely vulnerable around her perceived qualifications.
Why do you think that we still have so many comments about women's appearance, so much focus on the way that they're dressed, particularly when Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was still Secretary of State, you would hear all this commentary, oh, she looks tired. Why do you think that that still happens in the media and hasn't been sort of eliminated?
Well, you know, I think it's because America is still a relatively young country, and that's the way we were raised. You know, as women, we were raised to be seen and not heard. The focus has been on appearance, and I also believe there hasn't been enough outcry against it. I remember when I was first appointed chief, and it carried over into the congressional race too. When I was appointed, I had worked for 7 male chiefs. 7. I had never heard the media ask them what their weight was. They asked me. Wow. They asked me how tall I was. And I think they were painting this picture, you're too short and too whatever to be a chief of police. They focused a lot on, well, you have 3 sons, how on earth are you going to do it? Never heard them ask one of the male chiefs that question. They focused on, wow, that's a really tough job. And my response finally was, well, the job didn't get any dang on tougher because a woman's now in it. It's still the same tough job. But the focus was on, and as we as women and people in the position and others who support women just have to call them out on it.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. Look, wait a minute, you didn't ask my male counterparts that, why? Or how do you balance your home life? How you balance your children and still be the chief all at the same time.
Right.
I think that's why it happens, and I think we have an obligation to just call them out. I think it takes 3 things: courage, preparation, and opportunity. And thank you all for providing the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And if I could, we have another honored elected with us. This is Congresswoman Allison Short. She's running now for governor of Pennsylvania. When I ran for Congress in 2008, there were people that helped me in that race, and Allison, you were right there for me every inch of the way.
I want to thank our panel. Can we please give them